Hello friends, welcome to fascinating world of global psychology. I am Dr. Manjay Kurila, rehabilitation psychologist and educator, brought a new video for you to describe the perspectives of psychology. In this video, we will talk about the initial stage of perspectives, its contributions and its drawbacks. So friends, this video is going to be very interesting, so watch the video till the end. So without wasting time, let's start with this video. What do you think about meaning of perspective? Perspective involves certain assumptions about any object or human, like characteristics, beliefs, thinking, and perception, etc. Means it is a way of functioning, reacting, or behavior. So it is worthy for studying and making approaches to explain human behavior. Based on the theory or history of psychology, we can see that it has different aspects or perspectives to define human nature and mental processes, which are: firstly, we can see it has biological perspectives. Secondly, we can see it has behavioral perspective, it has psychodynamic perspective, it has cognitive perspective, it has humanistic perspective, it has sociocultural perspective, it has evolutionary perspectives, and then we will go firstly towards the biological perspective. The biological perspective focuses on how our brain, genes, hormones, and nervous system shape our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. In 80s, scientists like Phineas Gage showed that brain damage affects behaviors, hinting at a brain-mind connection. By the early 90s, advances in biology like understanding neurons and genetics pushed psychology to study the body's role. For instance, we can see that Charles Darwin's evolutionary theory influenced ideas about how behaviors might be weird for survival. In the 20th century, brought some kinds of technologies like EEGs and MRIs, through which scientists can peek inside the brain to understand the neural connectivity and its effects on our behaviors, through which we can understand about reasons behind mental disorders, evolutionary insights. This connects psychology to biology and anthropology and bridging perspectives between cognitive psychology and humanistic ideology. It has limitations like overemphasizing biology and neglecting environmental or social factors to understand the reasons behind human behaviors. Now we will move towards behavioral perspectives. The behavioral perspective is watching a movies of someone's actions. It argues that behaviors is learned through interaction with the environment, like reward or punishments, and ignore internal stuff like thoughts or unconscious mind. Its pioneers were John B. Watson, Ivan Pavlov, and B.F. Skinner. Thought about our behaviors are shaped by association and reinforcement, whatever it will be rewards or punishments. Now we can go through its limitations were it focuses only on behaviors, it escapes thoughts, emotions, or unconscious motives, which cognitive and psychodynamic approaches tackle. If you are depressed, behaviorism might train you to act happy but not address why you will feel very much sad. Second, it oversimplifies complex behaviors. So these are limitations of behavioral perspective. Now we will move towards psychodynamic perspective. The psychodynamic perspective is like a detective story of our mind, digging into hidden motives, past experiences, and inner conflicts to explain why we think, feel, or act the way we do. It is less about our conscious choices like cognitive or behavioral approaches and more about the unconscious force pulling our strings. Psychodynamic perspective kick off of late 90s and early 20th century, primarily through Freud's work making it one of the earliest modern psychological approach. Due to this, he is known as father of psychodynamic theory, and he introduced the id, ego, superego, and unconscious mind. Besides, Freud gave the concept of the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind, and his methods like free association and dream analysis aim to uncover hidden conflicts. He believed that our unresolved conflicts manifest as psychological issues. For it, he defined different kinds of defense mechanism to solve daily problems in different manner. So now we will move towards its limitations. It is hard to prove and test scientifically the unconscious mind. Second, it focuses heavily on childhood, which can feel irrelevant for current issues like work stress, job satisfaction, etc. It is focused on emphasizing sexual and aggressive drives, which driven and through which we can feel reductive, unlike the humanistic perspective on growth or the biological perspective on behavior based explanations. So guys, if you want to know more about it and its other contributors, comment on the comment sections. After getting 100 comment, I'll make a full video on it in which we will discuss on the other pioneers of psychodynamics perspectives like Carl Jung, Alfred Adler, and Anna Freud also. Now we will move towards cognitive perspective. Cognitive perspective kick off in the 1950s and 1960s, often called the cognitive revolutions. Before this, psychology was dominated by behaviorism like Pavlov's theory, focused on the observable actions only, not about the thought. Psychologists like Jean Piaget, Noam Chomsky, Ulrich Neisser led the charge and declared that the mind isn't a blank slate. Reacting to stimuli, it is an active processor like a computer. After that, thinkers started studying how we think, remember, and solve problems and found that it really works like a computer in the form of as getting sensory information, processing, as thinking about the object, and output like our behaviors. Here I have an important fact about its roots. So basically its roots were borrowed from the earlier work of Gestalt psychology, which focuses on how we perceive pattern, and even Freud's focus on mental process, but it was more scientific and less about unconscious trauma. Now we will move toward its drawbacks or limitations. Then we can find that it treated our mind as a cold, hard machine, ignoring emotions, instincts, or messy human stuff. It neglected unconscious processes. For instance, if someone had a weird phobia, they had focused on their conscious thoughts, not on the hidden traumas. And last, it had limited scope because it focused on mental process but downplayed biology or social factors. For example, early cognitive psychology didn't explain why two people might interpret the same event differently based on their upbringing. So guys, this is all in this video. If you have any query or doubts, you can comment in the comment sections, and if you want separate videos on each perspective, after getting 100 comments, I'll make a detailed video on that topic. So guys, we will meet in the next video with its remaining topics. Till then, keep watching and keep learning with me. Bye bye, take care and stay tuned.